What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the FD build series. Today on this episode we're going to be running the power and the ground wire from the trunk to the front of the car. So I found a little path. I just decided that we're going to go and follow the fuel lines. So in order to get to the fuel lines, you got to pull the fuel cover off. It's a couple of Phillips screws, and I went ahead and pulled all the plastic paneling off, and I'll show you here exactly what that means in a second. So let's go and show you that. With the help of Hunter, we fed the power and ground through the fuel pump location. I just cut a little hole in the grommet so I can get these two in there. So these are actually run through there, and I will show you under the car what it looks like. All right, we are under the car, and that is where the lines get run from. You can see that's the top of the fuel pump and where all the lines run, and then it runs over the subframe and over the diff, and then down behind those wires, zip tied to the fuel pump lines or the fuel lines, and then it's underneath this plastic shrouding, and then it runs with the fuel lines. It'll run all the way to the back, and these two will run nice snug up in there pretty much. And that's enough where I feel confident enough it won't get hit because it's in that little crevice. I couldn't fit it underneath the shielding with the OEM fuel lines, but there's a nice enough crevice where that can line up, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. But I am going to run that. Let me show you where it is now. Also, like I said, while we're underneath here, I'm going to go ahead and replace that nice catted area with that straight pipe, and we'll see what this thing sounds like. If it's too unbearable, we will put it back, but I need to know what it sounds like. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to modify this piece for the fuel pump so that the wires can come out and look a little bit more clean. So currently the way this works is this goes on top of the mount here, and it's just a shield for that wire. But I'm just going to cut this so these two can come out this side. The red wire can go to the JP3 circuit breaker right there, and the black can go to the ground on the battery right there. So I'm going to clean that up, run that real nice like. You guys will see how that comes together. So I'm going to modify that, and I'm just going to Dremel that. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Now what's left after that is starting to run all of the wires for the amp. The amp is going to go right here. I'll cut a little hole in the carpet so that the wires can go in here, and all the wires will run up here into the door, into the radio, and into the other door. And now I also got the side mounts with the speaker holes instead of the cubbies, so that will go, and the new speakers will go up here as well, so we can get a full speaker setup. But I think I'm going to wait to do the speaker video next week, and we'll just finish up power and ground this week. So let's get that done. Let me show you what this looks like. So after modifying the bracket thing, that's what it looks like there. You know, semi-clean, not too bad, not too ugly. I went ahead and I cut down the wire and I put on the fittings so that I can actually attach it to the battery. So let me show you what this looks like now that it's all cleaned up, and what I'm about to do to the front. So this is what it looks like now that I have everything kind of cut down and nicely wired. And to me, I think this looks pretty great. Obviously, this gets all covered, and it's straightforward. It's to the point. It's got some shielding, and it's got mounts so that it won't move anywhere. So I'm happy with that. You know, it's not the cleanest in the world, but it works. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run everything down below the car. Grabbed all these from Amazon. These are kind of sweet. They're like little plastic couplers so that I can run the wires together. So I'll show you what that looks like when I run it. And then I'm gonna cut these down. The red is gonna go to the JP3 post right there. And then the black is just going to go to the block down there, which I will get a video of when I'm in. And I go ahead and took the original factory ground that went to the battery, and I just hit that spot with a Dremel and threw it on there. So a little chassis ground is good enough. So yeah, that's where we're at. And let me finish this up and show you what it looks like. All right, piecing this thing back together. Went ahead and threw the wheel back in, but let's see what it looks like underneath. I can only get the back up right now because I'm taking the other two stands up with that car, which I will also get to hopefully Saturday. I got a buddy coming over, so that hopefully will work out. All right, let's show you what's going on under here. First off, I took the old mid pipe out and I put the straight pipe in. So I'm excited to hear what this thing sounds like, I'm not gonna lie. I have to do the fuel filter, which is up there above the diff. I might just bring it to Jared so I can do that in the lift because I'm getting tired doing stuff under here and I just want to be off my back. But I ran the wires. It comes from above there, which I showed you before, down there. I have these nice couplers, which I got off of Amazon. I will link. And that is what holding them in into the body. And then it will go under the fuel line area up in the front, which I will show you now once I get the front up. I got to cut that really quick. I forgot I took that there just to secure it. But it is in line. It's actually not, it's not protruding more than this metal piece, so that would get hit first if it scrapes, not the wires. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you the front as I get the front up. All right, guys, everything is officially run. So this is what it looks like up top with it all together. I know it's not the prettiest thing in the world with the red wire, but it gets the job done, and it'll get covered by the intercooler anyway. I can always change it up along the way, maybe sheath it so you don't see the red, but you won't see it with the intercooler there, and I'd rather have it in line. No, red is power, black is not, and that's it. But that's all plumbed up to the JP3 post. Now let me show you down below. All right, we are now down below. I did clean it up a little bit with some blaster, but here, let's see. You can see the ground is on the block there, and if we come back a little further away, you can see where I ran everything, and then it comes up from the fuel line location up into there, and I just tucked it away from the steering column and all that fun stuff. But you can see here it runs very nicely with the fuel lines right alongside of it with the nice brackets, and it'll be out of the way. So now that it's all there, you see how your best way to, or my easiest way to plumb it all, and you can take what you want from that. But just to prove that it works, let me show you. All right, so breaker, obviously when you're testing it, don't keep the breaker down, but when you're ready to test, go ahead and drop it. Spoiler alert, I did just try this. It did work. I always prepare myself for it not to work, just in case I get disappointed. But it did work, and I did giggle like a little girl. But just to show you and prove it, there you go. We are all plumbed up, ready to go. And now we are on to speakers. So let me show you what we're doing. All right, guys, that is the end of today's video. This should wrap up the JP3 rear battery kit install. If you didn't see the first half, you could see that here. And now this is how you run the rear wire. There's not a good video on the internet for that, so not that anybody needs it. I know it's a simple thing, but you know, best practice helps along the way, and at least you can see how I did it. You can do it a million other ways. You could run it through the car, whatever you might want to do. This to me was easiest and simplest. Eventually I'll probably make some shielding for both the fuel lines and the battery lines. But for now I'm happy with this. Now next week I will be installing the speaker system and all that. Now that we have power in the cabin, I can run it from the battery to under the seat where I'll keep the amp. So I'll show you how I wire in Polk 6.5-inch speakers, the amp, the tweeters, the Polk tweeters, and then I got a set of OEM replacement side panel speakers. I originally had the cubby side panels, but I have a set of the speaker holder ones in New York, so I have to have those brought down. But I should have that next week, and I should be able to start at least wiring that all. So next week will be speaker install. The IS, I will be doing the diff on Saturday, so hopefully I can just get some. Now we should just be ripping in this car, so that thing will start ripping in. Then in a week or so, I'll have all the powder coat stuff back from this, and all I have left to do is an oil change and a coolant flush. Then I can throw everything on top, just go over the lines one last time, and we're ready to rip for the season. So I can't wait. I'm effing stoked. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're making good time, and I will see you next week. See ya.